Welcome to the Sam and Joe VA Show, where we teach women just like you how to start and scale a thriving virtual assistant business.
We're your hosts, Sam and Joe, and get ready to have the control, flexibility, and freedom you've always dreamed of.
Welcome to episode 167, Why You Need a Waitlist.
Every virtual assistant, whether you are a freelancer or you have client-facing team members, should have a waitlist if you have regular leads coming in. No brainer.
Absolutely no brainer. It doesn't matter what type of virtual assistant you are, what services you're providing, whether it's projects or service plans, every virtual assistant should have a waitlist.
And I bet there are virtual assistants listening thinking, but who's going to want to go on a wait list for my services?
And they do. Yeah. Potential clients, if they want to work with you and you are fully booked, they will wait on a wait list because they've already decided that they want to work with you.
Yeah, we both have wait lists, and we have both have people very happy to wait on those wait lists. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about the triggers that you are experiencing that are telling you that it's time to get a wait list and start talking about a wait list with leads coming in. We're going to be talking about the benefits of having a wait list. And then we're also going to chat about how to communicate with leads about your wait list.
Some of this may be very surprising to you and you've never thought about it before. But if you are nearing capacity, if you have those regular leads coming in, you absolutely want to start thinking about this, because we know that many of you will not want to say no to leads when you do get to that full capacity. So here's your other option, and it's amazing.
Yeah. So if you have got those regular leads coming in, you are having to say no. And each time you're like, oh gosh, it's killing me to say no. I don't want to be saying no. I want to be able to help these people. Hello, waitlist time.
Because you might have a tendency to just keep saying yes, and then nobody wants to be in the position where you are completely overbooked, you've overcommitted, and you start under delivering. That is not a fun place to be. So this is a way, having a wait list, to not say no and not have to say yes. This is like you're in the middle ground, and it's a great option because there's so many benefits to this.
Yeah. Another trigger would be if you regularly experience feast and famine cycles. So you're super, super busy with client work for a couple of months, and then there's nothing, and then you're desperate to fill some spots.
We often see this happening with those virtual assistants who do project work. So stop and start projects. Start and stop. Stop first. Start and stop their projects, and then they're looking for the next project to come in. Well, if you have a wait list, this is a great option because you're going to then have that pipeline down the track, which we're going to go into soon.
Yeah. But waitlists aren't just good for those offering those project works.
No.
Service plans, if you ideally like the ongoing clients paying month to month to month,
My hands up.
your hands up. Exactly. A wait list absolutely works for virtual assistant businesses like yours, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. And also really great for those who are thinking about having a team. Maybe you're considering oh yeah, if I did get myself fully booked, I don't know if I'll have enough work. I kind of want the work before I hire someone. How am I going to do that? This is a great option to have a wait list to give you some breathing space and some time to be able to decide, yep, I'm going to get a team member and I'm going to bring them on, and you've got some time to do that.
Yeah. So many benefits. It keeps your leads warm. Another benefit. It's so much harder to onboard somebody that is a cold lead than it is somebody that's warm. Now, if you've got someone on a wait list, they're not just warm, they are piping hot, They're literally waiting. They're literally waiting for your phone call.
Mhm. Yeah. The other thing it does too is it makes you so attractive, because if you have to say to someone, "You're gonna have to be on a wait list," that person wants to work with you even more than they did before you said that, because you're attractive. Oh, if
Mhm,
you're in demand, you must be really good. Credibility goes through the roof.
mhm.
I want to work with this person because so many others are wanting to work with them. They must be good.
Your credibility is just skyrocketed. And, you don't have to have 100 people on your wait list to get that credibility by talking about your wait list. There only needs to be a couple of it on there. You don't have
Well,
to tell them, right?
no, no, you don't even have to have anyone on there. You could just say you'd have to go on a wait list. They don't need to know what other people are on there.
Having a wait list, especially if you have ongoing service plans, it means it's really easy to replace as if somebody, like, leaves, a client fires you or leaves unexpectedly, because
Mm,
it can be unexpected. Like, we don't often get months worth of no of notice that a client that no longer needs your services. Quite often, it happens quite quickly.
mm.
You've got that pipeline. It's so much easier to fill that spot.
Yeah, because you don't have to go into panic mode. I think when we lose a client and we need to fill them, we go into that desperation. And listen to one of our previous episodes,
Yeah.
desperation is ugly and it's not attractive. So we don't want you to get into that desperate scarcity mindset kind of
Mm,
vibration where you're then finding it much harder to attract leads, as opposed to having a wait list. The comfort and security of knowing that there is someone that's just waiting for the spot to become available. So as soon as someone says, can't be a client anymore, I'm having financial struggles, or whatever the reason is, how comforting would it be to know, ah, that's not a problem. I've got this other client who is ready and waiting. I've kept in touch with
mm,
them. I know that they're still like they're
mm.
keen, and they can slot straight in to that space.
So comforting.
Mhm.
Incredibly comforting.
The other thing that your waitlist can do is it helps you predict your future earnings. So if you know that, say, you do projects and you have a project that you're currently working on and it's going to take a month, you can have that person who's on your wait list actually confirmed for the future. So it could be that you give them a start date and they start in a month's time, and that project's going to take a month too. You
Mhm.
know, and you've got them confirmed, they've signed a contract, and maybe you've even sent them the deposit invoice. You know what your future earnings is going to be. And, we were talking about that comfort and security of having that wait
Mhm.
list. For projects, it's exactly the same. You have that comfort of knowing I have a project for next month as well. So I can focus on my project this month. I can still be showing up, doing some marketing. I know that I've got this
Mm.
lead who
Mm.
is confirmed for the future. We want you to have that nice, smooth, or increasing revenue over time, and
Yeah.
not get into that feast and famine where you're like, "Ah, I'm not gonna earn anything." And now I'm again in desperation mode.
Oh, because when you're in desperation mode, it's very likely you then bring on clients that actually aren't your right fit, and
Mm,
that then causes such a knock-on effect in terms of your energy and whether you're enjoying what it is that you're doing, and if
mhm.
often wrong fit clients don't value you either, so a
Yeah.
massive, massive knock-on effect when you're in that position. Now, if you are offering project work and you've got this wait list, in terms of your capacity planning, Joe, that you've just talked about earlier on, you would actually be in that case, you'd want to be giving them a date
Mm,
because you can see, you know how many projects you can take on each month. So you can say, "Hey, I put you on the wait list, and then we will start your project on X date."
mhm.
And then in the lead up to that X date, you're in communication with them and you're getting all the bits that you need from them. So it's all happening
Oh,
behind the scenes.
how smooth would the delivery of those projects be if you
Oh,
had them in the future
oh.
and they were starting to get prepared now? Oh, the waitlist is sounding like the silver bullet
Oh, oh, careful.
that we talk about so
Careful.
often not being a thing. Like, this is such a great way to have comfort and security in your business
Mhm.
and know what the future's going to hold because you have a wait list and you're not afraid to say, hey, I can't work with you right now. Do you want to go on a wait list? This is what this would look like.
Yes. Be happy about it. Be confident talking about your wait list.
Mm,
Don't assume that they don't want to go on your wait list.
yeah. Because
You're
remember, it's so attractive.
Mhm.
They love the idea that they have to be on a wait list. They may not love that you can't start with them straight away, but they're willing to wait because they know you're so good.
No brainer. Those assumptions, they're just unfounded stories that we make
Mhm.
up in our own heads about people. I mean, there are going to be leads that, due to their own time frames and urgency
Mm,
around some things, they won't want to go on it, but they're
yeah.
just very politely going to decline. You haven't offended anybody.
No.
And if they can't wait, then offer to put them in touch with somebody else.
Mm. Yeah. You're
No
gonna win
drama,
some,
right?
lose
No
some. Yeah.
drama. There doesn't have to be any drama around this.
Mhm. No. Alright, how about what do we so let's say that someone is on a wait list, Sam.
Mhm.
They are waiting for a spot to become available because you offer ongoing service plans. How do we keep in touch with them? How do we keep them warm?
Yeah, because you don't just wanna be putting people on wait lists and then leaving them there indefinitely.
With
Because
no
you
comms.
don't have with the service plans, you don't have a specific date for them. You can give them you might be, if you've got a team or you're planning on growing your team, you might be able to give them an approximate time frame.
Mm,
But there's gonna be a lot of virtual assistants that you're literally saying you're going on the wait list, and it's your spot will happen when a spot becomes free, so
mm,
but you don't just wanna leave them there. So, if you haven't already got a newsletter that you're sending regular comms out to people on your email list or your wait list, then
mhm,
ask them, "Hey, can I pop you on my email list?" And then while you wait, then you can get communication from me in terms of what's going on
mhm,
and some tips around XXX, because
mhm.
people don't just wanna give you their email address for no reason. So
Yeah.
give them a little bit more specifics, but it's a
Mhm,
great way to kind of keep them warm. Now, if you don't have an email list, you're not sending out newsletters, you might just be a freelancer and that's not on your list of priorities, which is A-okay, then just keep engaging with them on social media, especially if you are on LinkedIn and they are on LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, please go on LinkedIn. Um, and just engage with them on there.
mm,
So if they post something, comment occasionally. You're just reminding them that you are there, that
yeah.
you still exist.
And you still remember them, and you still
Mhm.
value them, and you know that they're on the wait list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what about if you have multiple proposals out, but you know that you only have one spot? Like, when are you actually saying to someone, "I've only got one spot and there's a wait list," and, like, how does that comms work?
Oh, you need to be open and honest about that from word go.
Mm.
So, I would be talking about, if you know when a lead comes in and they're asking for a discovery call and you know they're immediately gonna go on the wait list, then you need to be telling them about your wait list before you then invite them on that discovery call, because you don't want any surprises at their end. You don't want them to feel like you've wasted their time. So if they're happy to go on the wait list, then have the discovery call, because you can still be chatting about everything and figuring out how it's gonna work, and
Mm,
then they go on the wait list. It's A-okay.
mhm,
Now, if you are really busy and you've got multiple leads coming in, and it's not until 1 week or 1 day where you've got 3 discovery calls and you realize, "Oh, actually, this discovery call number 2 and 3, like, if everyone says yes, then someone's gonna have to go on the wait list."
mm,
Then just be honest about it in the discovery call and say, "I've got one space left, or I've got 2 spaces left, and there are other proposals out at the moment.
Yeah. And if you've already sent proposals out and then you realize, actually, I'm only going to have one spot, then get in touch with them and just let them know. There is nothing wrong with letting them know and being honest that you only have one spot left. And
Yeah.
that if they're going to want to take it, they need to make a decision quickly.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to make them make a decision quickly. And it's not that you're being dishonest. You
No.
actually can only take one.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
other person is going to have to go on a wait list.
Just be honest. Just be
Mm.
honest. The only time that a client is gonna get pissy in this situation is if you haven't told them
Mm.
as soon as you know. That's when they're gonna get a little bit kinda like, "Oh, that was a waste of my time."
Yes.
Be honest. Jo, what about if you are thinking about growing your team and you've told them about your wait list because you know you're at capacity, thinking about growing your team. They want to have the discovery call, they're happy to wait. At what point do you talk about the fact that it's potentially a team member or a new team member going to be doing the work rather than you?
If you are fully booked and you know that they couldn't come on with you unless one of your clients left, then I would be honest as soon as you realize that at the earliest point possible, opening the door for it potentially to be a team member. You don't have to say a subcontractor. You can say a team member.
Mhm.
I think the earlier the better, because the sooner
Yeah.
that they start getting in their mind, it might be someone else, not getting attached to it being you, the better
Mhm.
it's going to be and the easier it's going to be when, if that actually happens and they need to go to a team member, they're going to be already prepared for that. You wouldn't want to kind of surprise them where they're like thinking about
Mm.
waiting for you. And then suddenly now they have to reframe and get their mind into, it's going to be someone else that I don't know and haven't met.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So wait lists.
Mhm.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. If you are nearing capacity, you need to think about having a wait list because there are so many benefits that we've just been through. This is going to make you super attractive, position you in like such a good space, and give you that beautiful security and comfort of knowing what's coming up. So if you at that point, you want to learn more, you want to figure out how to implement this waitlist, then head on over to the Scale It Mastermind. Check it out. We are all about giving you that comfort in your business, predicting and knowing what's coming up and scaling. So we would love to see you there. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Sam and Jo VA Show. If you'd like to find out more, head to the VA Foundry website to check out the mastermind and the amazing resources, courses, and coaching.
You can find us at thevafoundry.com.